Good morning. So today is discussion board, okay? So this will be a discussion board. Get comfortable because I'm going to discuss a couple of things, right? But you're going to have to comment, down below, and I'll put up, and then you have to comment on two other people, okay? And this is a long story, like usually mine are, but it's discussion board, and ultimately, it's your class, right? And this is class period, and this would be a regular lecture. Look at my hair all over the place. So I have already graded everything, my laters and the people that, life happened to and they didn't get to meet their deadlines. I have, according to myself, already corrected everything. So if you had something pending that I was supposed to correct and I have not as of yesterday, then please send me a text via Teams, because then that means I missed you, okay? Remember, be mindful of me, right? I have about 3 or 4 platforms that you all can communicate with me, and I have 300 kids, and it's very hard. I call you guys kids. And so it's very hard that, because I don't have a face to it, right? And so it sort of becomes jumbled, all right? So, although I know who you are, right? One of my students, because I'm at the farmer's market on the weekend, right? She was with another of my students that already graduated, and she gave me her name, and she's like, "I have you for class, miss." And as soon as she told me what her name was, then I knew who she was. So, so that was really neat to be able to put a face to it, okay? So I'm all cut up. You're supposed to be working on your final, so work on your final, okay? I think the links are up, so for those of you who meet deadlines way above and beyond, the actual deadline, get it in like a couple of days. Or I had students that are like, "Hey, miss, where do you want us to upload that?" Thank you so much. You have no idea. And really, I will say this, okay? And it's not a diss to anybody, but I'm here to educate you. And as I tell you, I'm here to teach you about life, and it is through content that we do. So you are who you are. If you all wait till the last minute, you allow for all sorts of things to happen, okay? First of all, your stress goes up because you don't know what you're supposed, you're pending that you haven't done my work, and you're pending and you have that stress. And so you don't even sleep, and you don't even watch your videos or whatever it is that you do, comfortably, because you have so much stress because you have that pending. That's one. The other thing is that, I'm always like, even though for as much as a procrastinator I am, I always get everything in, like days before, okay? When I was a principal, I always absorbed, and I always like gave my teachers like a week or 2 weeks before the deadline that I had to turn in everything, because there's always late people and there's always things that happen, okay? So I always made accommodations for my laters, okay? Just as I do with you all, okay? That's why we do everything early, all right? Because then I can't accommodate, and if life happens to you, I won't be able to adjust. So I do a lot of adjustments for you, even though some of you all don't get it, okay? So so what happens when you wait for the last minute, right, or a day before, whatever, is that anything can happen. You can have an emergency and not have time for it. Your internet goes down, SU doesn't work, right? And that's not just of SU, but anything. Like I've had, videos that I've had to upload, and Google sort of like doesn't work for a day, or it takes 2 or 3 days to upload, or whatever, right? So anything, can happen. So don't allow for that to happen. And it's called Murphy's Law. When one thing goes wrong, the whole thing goes wrong. So don't wait till the end. It gives you a lot of stress. And my work is super simple. Just get it done and get it done. It's been very interesting that the links are up there, and you guys wait till the last minute and you still miss it. Somehow I missed it. And for those of you how somehow I missed it, and look, and I couldn't upload. Yeah, you're uploading a minute before. Of course you're not going to upload. Why? Because that's how life is. You're not supposed to upload because you don't deserve to upload if you're uploading my work a minute before, okay? So, but whatever, but I'm cool. I let you guys turn it in, whatever. I don't argue, because I'm not, and I'm going to point my life where I don't argue. Okay, but do take responsibility, all right? So don't wait till the last minute. So anyway, so for my heavy duty, like overachievers, that you get all your stuff done, thank you so much. And of course, you all struggle less because you can accommodate when you get things, and you accommodate and go through whatever it is that you have to go through. If there's any issues, you still have time, right? I mean, if you're getting in, if you have your essay done since last week, since I mentioned it, right? Well, I mean, if Monday doesn't work, if Tuesday doesn't work, you still have a whole Thursday, Wednesday to upload, not Thursday, right? So you all have all these days that you can upload in case anything goes wrong, okay? And it also helps you with writing when you write something and you sort of sit on it, it becomes better and it becomes better and it becomes better, and your thought process becomes more in depth and more profound. And that's really what I want you to be. I want you to be a profound soul and being, right? Not just someone that goes with the herd and goes with the sheep and doesn't think on their own, right? And that's what's really happened to us. Everybody's going like everybody's sheep. Universities and life is not about thinking about like everyone else. It's about thinking outside the box. It's about accommodating to whatever your environment and whatever your life is, so you can successfully get through it. And the only person that can figure that out is yourself, because you are living your life and you're the one that's going through the things. So that's what life is about, and that's what was the main focus for my high school when I was a principal. Most importantly, what I taught the kids was to be able to figure out the system that they're in, be able to navigate successfully through it, and be successful and finish it off. In my case, high school, right? For your case, college. For your career. For your family. Okay, which leads me to what this discussion board is about. So my son is so I have everything ready. So make sure if you don't, if you're missing something, make sure you text me and let me know, because I'm not going to be changing everything last minute. Okay, so get that in. But I think I'm up to date. All right. So so my son, I am an empty nester, and that's what you call people that their children have already left, right? So it's a it's a comparison, or deriving from like birds, right? They they grow and they take care of their their offspring. I don't know what you call them. There's you call birds something, like, I don't know. So pigeons or pigeones or something like that. I don't know, for pigeons or whatever. So they take care of their birds, the little chicks, right, is what they call them. They feed them this and that or whatever. And then they take off. The birds take off because it's time for them to leave the nest, to leave the home. So empty nesters are people that have already have adult children, or have children that have gone away for college or whatever, and they've left the nest, the house, right? Because they are independent, because they can fly. That's why the birds are like, they go off, right? And they are ready to fly. That's why they say, so your children are ready to fly, right? And so you become an empty nester, so your nest is empty, okay? So very interesting, because I'm just very different, okay? So I have always, my goal in my life for my children, because as you all have known, and your goals that I've made you go through this, especially my, my college studies, is about you determining what your goals are. So my goals for my children, okay, and they're already adults, has been very specific. Like, I needed to have them become incredible independent citizens, right? And human beings with a beautiful soul that are ethical and moral and can be truly beautiful people, okay? And that's what I raised, all right? So so they're no longer here. They're fully independent, and they're complete badasses, okay? My children are complete badasses, okay? There's been a lot of work that I've invested in them, a lot of time, and a lot of love, okay? And I'll just tell you a really quick story about my son. So my son was, and he hates when I talk about him, but anyway, so he's home, and so I'm going to tell you what the discussion board is about. So just chill out, calm down, whatever, this and that. We're almost done with my class. So my son was, long story, I don't have the time because it's not, I'm not in class or whatever, but my son in high school did extraordinarily poor, okay? He almost failed, all right? And I got called in to his, to the counselor's office in his, senior year. Now, let me tell you one thing. He was in a specific school, and by his sophomore year, he said, Mama, you need to change me. And then I said, what? And my daughter had asked for the same thing. My daughter's older, and I didn't believe her, and I didn't want to do it, and I didn't listen. So listen to your children, okay? Of course, listen to them, with common sense, right? If they want to go outside and cross the street without looking both ways, well, of course, you're not going to let them, okay? But truly, truly listen to them. Now, let me tell you another thing. I have allowed my children to make the decisions that they want ever since at a very young age. And this helps whether you have children or not, whether you're wanting children later or not, and it helps with yourself as well, this whole story, okay? All my stories help, all right? And I use my experiences to sort of, hopefully one day you'll remember, right? And you're going to say, oh my God, this, okay? So my daughter had come to me and wanted to change schools, and I made her stay at the school. It was the worst mistake of my life, okay? I should have just let it. So I learned, right? Because you learn, right? So my second child, which is my young son, okay? The youngest, not my young. I only have two children. Enough, okay? It's just, I don't have, my ex-husband used to say, we don't have mental or financial or physical capacity anymore, and that's an absolute truth. So we only had two. For everybody else that has more kids, that's great. I wanted, it was just a lot for me. I had to, work and career and my children and my household, because just as much of dedication that I had with my career, and as as serious that I took my career, I also took very seriously my my household, my marriage, and me being a mother and my family. Okay, so I did both, and you can do both. Now, I never went out. I missed a lot of baby showers and stuff while the women were drinking and having brunches. I was working my ass off. Okay, that's another story. I'll let you know. It was well worth it. 20-30 years later, I'm a badass. They're not. They're working like in furniture stores, but I'll tell you that about later. Okay, so anyway, so don't feel bad about yourself. You're working on yourself. It'll pay off. Trust me. Okay, it'll pay off. All right, and don't worry about not being with that or whatever. I had a student, they're like, Miss, why did you even care? Absolutely, why did I even care? Okay, but so when you're feeling sorry about yourself because everybody's having a great time, don't, because you're investing in yourself right there. You're investing in your family. You're investing in your future. All right, so back to my children. So my son, so I get called in by the counselor. So he wanted me to move him. So and I said, well, where do you want to move? And he said, I want you to, this private school, all boys school. I said, really? Okay. I said, so first you have to cut your hair. Second, you have to pull up your pants. And third, you have, there's no girls. That's okay. I said, okay, if I move you, you can't ask to be moved back. So a month later, so I moved him, right? A month later, he wanted to be back. Of course not. It was the best decision he made in his life, because that school was incredibly life-changing for him, okay? So anyway, that doesn't mean that anything. That just means that it was life-changing for him because of decision, because he knew what he needed to do, as we all do always. Trust your kids, okay? It doesn't matter how old they are. Trust yourself, okay? You know what to do. So anyway, so what happened with my son is that we moved in, and I got called in by the counselor in his senior year, and he said, Miss Edwin, I just want to tell you that your son is second to last in class. And I said, okay, I'm a high school principal. And then he said, and I said, okay. And then he said, it's because I want to tell you that your son is second to last in class. And I said, okay. And then he told me 3 times, like I was stupid. I have a master's, right? And I'm in education. I know exactly what that means. And he tells me, it's because you don't understand. Your son is second to last in class. While he was telling me, all I could think about was the poor kid that was last in class, okay? Who is that kid? And they used to have rumors that he didn't have parents and this and that or whatever. It was horrible. Anyway, I told him, you think I don't understand? I'm a high school principal. Of course I understand that my son is second to last in class. I understand perfectly what that means. Can he graduate or not? Yeah, he can graduate. Okay, well, let's get him graduated. He can pass or whatever and this and that. So he graduated. Right? Barely. Second to last in class. So what happens? He goes to school. We prepared tremendously for college, this and that. He wasn't ready. Of course not. He was second to last in class. But he buckled down. There's all sorts of things that we did or whatever so he can buckle down. So right before graduation, I found out that he was cum laude, okay? And so cum laude is third in class of his class in college, and he graduated with a chemistry degree, okay? So he went from being second to last in his high school class to being third in his class in a very difficult degree where only 5 people graduated that semester. 3 of them were PhDs. He was only one of an undergrad that he did, and he was top of his class. So you can do anything and you can achieve anything. And when he graduated, it brought tears to my eyes because we had gone through so much, okay? And here I was a principal and I had children that were failing. That's why I understand a lot of things, okay? And he told me in his graduation, he said, Mama, this is because of you. I was crying, I swear to God, because I was so overwhelmed by the emotion. Because during his tenure in school, I didn't know that he had high marks. He never told me. I never asked. My children have always understood what they needed to do. I never nagged on them, never asked for anything. They knew what it was. Whenever it got done, they told me. That's it. So that's the way I manage my kids, right? I don't nag. You need to get it done, get it done. If there's an issue, you better tell me before poop hits the fan, all right? So in the end, I was crying because I couldn't believe he had graduated with honors. I didn't know until he applied for the honor, okay, and for him to be, so it would be written in his degree. Anyway, so in the end, in his graduation, he didn't want to go to the ceremony, but went to the ceremony, all sorts of stuff, which was very satisfying for me. And so he tells me, Mommy, in the end, and he told me in Spanish, when nobody believed in me, you always believed in me, and it is through your love that I am where I am. There's nothing more beautiful than someone to tell you that, especially your children. So believe in your children and love your children always, okay? And don't let anybody speak ill of them, of you, of your partner, of anybody. You don't speak ill of anybody, okay? Especially your family and your kids, all right? So long story short, so he goes away so he went and whatever, and so my kids are really badasses, and so he's away for he's studying law, and he's back at home, right? And so today in the morning, I don't know if I should mention this, but okay. So he's back at home, and so I'm an empty nester, so I hardly don't cook anymore, even though I've always cooked, okay? But I hardly don't cook. But since he's here, I'm cooking, and we love to eat, and he expects it, and, we just love to eat, and that's one thing that creates our family, right? We always get together to eat and have, wholesome, home-cooked meals, okay? Because I cook all the time, and I was able to do it. So today in the morning, and this is your discussion board, I went out because I'm doing a pot roast. I hardly don't eat meat, but he wants meat, so I gave him meat, right? And today I'm going to be busy, so I'm not going to be at home. So I put everything in the crock pot, and I decided to do a pot roast. So I was doing the pot roast like I did all the time. I used to do pot roasts all the time when they were kids, and they used to eat crock pot. They can't stand crock pot because I used to do crock pot at least twice a week, so that way they would get home, because I usually was not home when they got home. So they would get home and then have a fresh cooked meal, and then they would wait till I got here, or if I wasn't going to get there that day, then they could serve themselves. So I am also very I'm a gardener. Okay, I haven't gardened in a long time because my husband's the one that does it. But I grow my herbs, and so I went and snipped. I have rosemary, I have thyme, I have mejorana. Marjoram, I don't know what it's called in English, I can never pronounce it, and then I have oregano. So I wanted some for my for my crock pot, and it was really early in the morning. It was like 6:30 in the morning. So while I was preparing it, I needed my spices, so I had to go out and get my spices. This is your discussion board. Pay attention. So as I go in and snip, right, my herbs, which I take care of, and they usually go through all the winter because I sort of cover them and really take care of them. So we eat fresh herbs all the time. Okay, in the summer we have a lot of basil. So I went and snipped the herbs. There was this, in the morning, when you go really early in the morning, there's a specific smell and this specific environment about earliness, crispness, crisp in the air. It's cold, it's been very cold, so it was really cold in the morning, and we're heading on winter. I think winter starts on the 22nd. I think, right? So and so I bundled up, right, because I knew, and it was going to be quick or whatever, but I'm like, I'll heat that because whatever, that's how I was raised, right? So I have to bundle up and go. And so I went in with my scissors and got my oregano and all that. But the morning brought in memory, right? As do smells, as do seasons, as do periods of time throughout the day, as do visits, right? My son is here, so it's a visit. So all those things brought in, but it brought me to this smell and this crispness and this cool air of winter. And so early in the morning, but yet it was invigorating. It was beautiful. The day was starting. It was an amazing morning for a split second because I came down, right? So that memory brought me back when I was in school, because I'm an educator, right? And I started as a kinder teacher, and then I moved up the ranks. Everything is progress, and everything is step by step. And small steps is what makes you who you are when you become who you want to be, and who you become what you dream of. Okay. And so I was a teacher, and then I became an intern, and then I became an assistant principal, and then I became a principal, okay, to a high school, which is one of the highest, positions and most prestigious positions within our educational profession, okay, other than superintendent. And so I always did bus duty, always did bus duty, right? Because the kids come in their bus, and I received everybody, the people, the parents that brought the kids and everything. And I was always there to receive the kids, good morning. And you have the ones that are really happy, good morning. And you have the ones that are always mad, and they don't want to answer back. And then eventually they start saying good morning, because they start, warming up to you, and really, expecting you out there, right? It was always so cold. It was always so cold. It was always so freezing during winter. And then in the summer, it was so hot. I mean, it used to be 104-degree weather, when the buses would leave, and, blazing hot. And in the morning, it was always so cold, 30 degrees, or it was raining and we were out there, or it was windy or whatever. And so it brought back that nostalgia and that memory of when I did bus duty that I so much enjoyed, and how I, in the end, enjoyed my mornings and enjoyed that part of my job, which was greeting all my school, right, as they came in. So what is it that you remember, or that something triggers you, a smell, or the seasons, or Christmas, or getting together, or a birthday, or a holiday, or a walk, or a run, or somebody that's never been to El Paso, right, that came back? What is it? What is a beautiful memory that you have recently had that propelled you and took you back to whatever it is that you were doing at that moment, or whatever it is that you remembered, right? We talked about Thanksgiving having a specific Thanksgiving smell, right? The turkey, the yams, the stuffing. It's a specific smell to Thanksgiving that only Thanksgiving has. So that is my memory, right? So my memory this morning was about me doing bus duty, and it had to do with everything in terms of, like, the morning, the crisp of the morning, the winter, the bundling up, the being cold, right? It was a combination of everything that propelled me to that memory. So what is your memory? And then make sure that you comment on other two people, okay? So namaste, love and light, ciao.